This is just AMZN on Tuesday, January 19th, 2021. Take a look at the 5-minute. I've got so for a new week, I've got the 3,200 calls expiring this Friday, the 3,000 puts expiring this Friday, and the 5-minute of the stock and the daily. So today had a really, really clean confluence, if you saw it. And so I just wanted to highlight the confluence. I changed the color of the line, just drew it in this purple color here on the stock, just connecting these highs and these couple of bearish candles, comes down here, tags some highs, upper wicks, and seeing very similar setup on the call, touching these highs, the upper wicks, and then starts to break through this candle. Looks like it's done what some did last week, where it just starts going sideways and starts to actually break out a little bit here on this one. And then on the put, I think this was really the most substantial, where it put in a pretty clean base here. You could have drawn this one a couple different ways. Let me zoom in on this. So it did a really good job connecting the lows to make a nice confluence. I mean, you can play around with these a little bit. I can move this lower there. Now it's not showing up a little bit red from that lower wick. The other thing you could have done is just connect over to the low from the opening candle at 669 and just drawn straight across. And it does a pretty good job too. Let's see, the low was 669. Yeah, okay, it's just showing up 666. So not exactly on it, but anyway, it cuts through this a little bit, pretty close here, a penny above there, and then still starts to break through. No, it actually had a close. Yeah, so the low is a little bit below it here and really breaking down. So, a couple key things to look at with these. And because it happened earlier, let me just zoom in. No, I'm not going to zoom in. Let me just do this. So you're starting to see a breakdown in this candle, and you're starting to see a breakout in this candle, and you're starting to see a breakout in this candle. The next candle is really interesting. We've got a clear close below, completely below on the put. Really nice high wave candle that's just above the 21 exponential, and a really nice high wave on the call. And I mean, it's just a great confluence on the option to see, a small candle, high wave candle, nothing too big, but a really tight range. And you could easily set this up to get in on the call, $8 by $7 at this point. I was looking at 8 by 7 earlier and didn't get in because it's like, okay, it probably has a little more to pull back. I got this line in here. You can copy this and draw it in and see what it is. I'll show you in a little bit if I remember to. So pause the video, grab those numbers if you want to draw that. Had a little bit further to pull in, and then when it broke down a little bit more bearish, it recovered right away. These two candles, they actually form a tweezer bottom. So the lows are the exact same, 30.96, 30.96, bearish candle, bullish candle. This is a really nice bottom. You had the high a little bit lower on the bullish candle than the bearish candle. Let me zoom in on this one. I'm talking on something that's really small. There we go. So this is an inside candle, technically shared bottom. Another inside candle starts to break out a little bit from this one, starts to move up a little bit more. This is a bullish engulfing, still really small candles. And you get the high wave candle right here with a close and open that's identical. So that's why it's like this gray candle, not bullish, not bearish. It pushed above this candle, which was the first candle, the tweezer bottom. And then this next one is just breaking out and starting to get closes above some bearish candles and clearly closing above the 21 and getting some momentum going with it and starting to look like, okay, if you can't see any of this, it's like this could start to get going, or it could run into resistance and just stop. So there's a nice resistance here from the open of this candle. Was that 31.1382, comes into about the same high, and we just obliterate that with this candle. So we pause below it here. Is this one a shaved top? High and close are 3 cents apart. So that's almost a shaved top. So the bullishness just got going. just started to get going here. And we go back and look at the call, it was really slow to get going. And it really just, you needed this time for this to reverse and to slowly get going. And I would say, if you didn't see this kind of confluence, to look for a place to get in later would have been after some sort of consolidation. And you had a really nice consolidation here, or maybe not after, but during, because it's putting in a really nice base and putting in a really nice base. And there's the consolidation there. Doesn't really show up the same in that same time frame on the put. You probably have to look at a different put to see it, something that's maybe a little closer. Let me turn this off. So the other put I was looking at, just because it's closer, was 3050, and it had a really nice similar low here, and then completely gapped down and broke down in this candle. So yeah, the high wave candle, it was even more spectacular here because it took out this bullish candle, took out this low. I mean, this bullish candle has 23 contracts traded, so it's not that big a deal. But this one has 419 contracts. So anybody who bought in this candle, they're now losing, and actually closed below this one with another 53 contracts. So this candle is starting to, I mean, it opened below this candle, right? So when we're looking at this on option or on the stock or any stock that has, decent volume, these candles start to mean something. Well, it still means something on the options as well, where we're getting a price that's way down here and taking out the low of a candle. I think that's significant. So right here, we're starting to break down. So you do the same thing, and I didn't do this to look at like a closer call. But at that same time, yeah, the 3175 is not enough traded. Let's not even look at that. 3150, this would have been really expensive to get a $100 risk. Okay, that's crazy. 55-cent range. So $55 range, you actually could have been buying this. Wow, okay. So the high here was 17. The high of this candle, 1691. I'm just kind of shocked right now. I hadn't looked at this option yet. You really could have bought this 17 by 16. I don't recommend that because it very easily could drop and you have a lot of slippage. But just trading this candle, high wave candle at an indecision point with support, with the 21 below, I mean, it just rocketed from here. So I will definitely be paying attention to those. This is more a study of candles, and I know someone that has a great resource on that for free if you're interested. So shoot me an email and I will connect you with that resource on candles, because I have learned a lot about candles and what they mean, and I've probably forgotten a lot too. But yeah, that is a really small candle to have on this strike. And we almost got there today. Look at this high. The high was 30.45. Can you imagine that? Getting in 17 by 16 and just holding on till it takes out the high of the option. I don't know that I would have held on that far either. Yeah. I'm not even sure how I would have traded this, because that is a big move. I probably would have had, no, I wouldn't have traded it, because I wouldn't have been comfortable with the $100 risk and possibly having a pullback down to here. Yeah, I would have stuck with the 3,200. That's what I would have done if I'd even looked over at that one. I really just looked at the 3,200 call today, and 3050 put and the 3,000 put. So let's go back to that one. Actually, before I go back, I'm going to try and do this. When I'm drawing confluence, I'm going to try and change the color a little bit so it stands out. Like, okay, there's the confluence that matches on the other charts. Maybe that helps. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see if that helps. But here, so I switch over here. So this downtrend line here, don't really see that holding as any support or anything for the put. We just continue lower. So, and then the breakout breakout on the stock and the breakdown on the put didn't even happen during this 5-minute candle. It happened at 12 o'clock candle Central Time. And then at 12 o'clock, we were way up here on the 3200 call. So if I had gotten in 8 by 7, my target would have been 3R. So that would have been 11 and would have been out on that candle, which would have been taking out the high. That's actually a really good target. Taking out the high, you don't know if it's going to continue higher. It did, obviously. Would have given me another 2R if I had held on. At this point, as it's starting to break out, I think because it had so much of a pullback here, I would not have expected to get up to 15. 15 from 8 would have been 7R. I would have wanted 8R. I think I would have left that target at 3. And because I wouldn't have been able to get my stop below the options price till much later. And actually it wouldn't have worked like at all to get my stop at 11, and that wouldn't have happened till over here. So yeah, I would have left it at 11 and just gotten 3R on this. Alternatively, if you had been getting in on the consolidation and maybe gotten in, as it's putting in this base here, maybe you're in over here. Let's just say you're in at 9. Then you've got a target of 3R that's at 12, and you're still getting out before it puts in this high. Still a good move from 9 to 12 or from 8 to 11. Both great moves. Both didn't buy the low, didn't sell at the high, but you still got 3R, which would have been great. And then it reversed here. Now, I really like seeing where my lines work days later. This is that symmetry channel that I drew in, and this is retesting from below that channel, and we reversed like right on it. So there's something about these lines that sometimes works really well. But this was, I literally said something like just drawing this freehand, I reversed the numbers and then moved it. But it had a really nice reversal here, but it wouldn't really have amounted to much. I mean, you would have had to have been buying right in the low, which actually the low in the option would have been here, 680, and it didn't even get up to, it got up to 9 or 927. So that didn't even move 3R. So you would have had to have been in a closer strike, which I'm not even going to look at. But even reversing, there was similar to the call needing to get going. From this point of the day, 2 hours to go, there just wasn't enough left on this option for that to really get that swing to go the other direction, like this one had. This one got moving and then had over the next 2.5, 3 hours moved up and just showed the bullishness. But at this point, you got less than 2 hours. So there just wasn't enough time for the put to continue on lower, but it did come right back down and closed on this downtrend line. So we'll see if these lines play out a little bit more. So here's the downtrend line, and we just retested back down to it. We just rejected the blue line, or the blue channel, which was the symmetry uptrend channel that didn't work. But just interesting to see these levels are still somehow relevant, which they weren't drawn off of anything in particular. The other thing I noticed as things were getting going today, I extended this line. I left this in from last week. I extended this, and it had a really nice level here that kind of the stock just rejected. And then I was thinking, oh, maybe it'll do something like that again. Nope, just plowed right on through that. And then I saw, oh, well, this angle and this angle kind of form a nice little triangle here. It's like maybe it'll bounce around in here and then do something. And sure enough, it did. It just did it early. It didn't get all the way over to the apex. But the only other thing I did was extend this one. And so, oh, look, X marks the spot. And sure enough, we're moving through this price really close to that point in time. So I wouldn't necessarily trade off of that, because this triangle clearly broke down on Friday. But this line was the high here and tied over to the shoulder, and that was part of that symmetry. But anyway, that's where these lines are coming from. So I'm going to cancel our extension. Oh, and if I switch over to an hourly, because that's really the only way to see it, that yellowish color is my really large triangle here. So far we're still holding in the low area of that. We've had a lot of, it just shows the way the chart is, it just looks like we've had a lot more bearish candles. Had a really nice kind of bounce here with a couple of bullish candles, nice hammer, inverted hammer. This could be a flag and we could just continue higher tomorrow. Could, I don't know. And then the close here, oh, I guess maybe I should turn this back on. Let's reset to 5 minutes. Then the low at the close was right back into this line. So I guess we got above it and failed that as like a double top sort of thing. So we go down to like a 3 minute. This would be like a double top, or 1 minute. Then we just didn't even care, and then we came right back down, and maybe we're bouncing off of that. So I guess we'll see. I'm going to turn off that red extension again, and man, this is a really nice S-curve shape, though. I really like this candle shape. And the daily, it's not as it's a little bit of a high wave candle, but not as clean as I like to see. Not as extra wicky like this one was. So yeah, still a really nice S-curve though. Down here, rallying, and then another S-curve here. It'd be great if this just continues on up, like everyone wants it to. So we'll see. But yeah, keep looking at these candles. There's a lot going on in the 5 minute candles here. And probably something else going on in the 2 minute or 3 minute candles. I don't get down there as much anymore. I like the 5 minute right now, and yeah, but some really nice confluence on the call, on the put, and on the stock 5 minute. So we'll continue and look for that this week. Hope this helps. This is Just AMZN. Thanks.